My name is David.
Fuck you in the ass with a stick.
And about 5 months ago, I saw a video on YouTube about flat Earth, the theory that the Earth is flat.
Yes, a theory in the same sense that a large white bird goes to a cabbage patch and collects infant humans, otherwise known as babies, and in a sling slung below its long beak, delivers these infants to people's houses 9 months after they fornicate. Same sense of the word theory.
And I got obsessed with this subject to the point where for the next 5 months, up until today, I kept watching flat earth videos, read books on the subject, and I can't stop researching it.
Research. You used the word research. Okay. What test have you applied to disprove the hypothesis that Earth is flat? If you truly researched it, your first step would have been to disprove that hypothesis.
It's one of the most fascinating subjects I've ever found.
That statement that you just made is probably the most sad and pathetic statement I've heard all week.
And when I explain it to people...
By people, I hope you mean the good doctor.
Besides that, people might laugh at me.
Why, how dare they?
A lot of them ask me a question: why does it matter whether the Earth is flat? I mean, how is that going to change my life? I mean, what's the difference?
The difference is 300 milligrams of Thorazine a day and not 300 milligrams of Thorazine a day.
And so I don't know what to say. But I'm going to make this video to really try to respond to that question. Why does it matter that the Earth is flat? Now, part of it has to do, and I think this might be true with a lot of people into the flat Earth. It's, by the way, a very booming thing.
Into a flat Earth. You're not talking the hollow Earth theory. You're talking the flat, round, disc Earth theory. And it's a booming thing. Did the round, flat Earth hypothesis stopped booming 2,300 something years ago? Just saying.
A lot of it has to do with an emotional reason.
A lot of it? I suspect you mean damn near all of it, and the rest is for a religious reason because the Bible says that the Earth is round and flat like a disc. Emotional and religious. 100%.
I think. Because a lot of us might be like, have had bad experiences with institutions like the academia or government that promote the heliocentric model.
Hello, yeah, NASA, I found another one. That's right. David Ross-Dieter. That's Ross-Dieter. He is on to us. That's right. You need to make sure it looks like an accident like all of the others. Roger.
And if it turns out the flat Earth thing is right, it's sort of like this feeling of satisfaction that maybe I don't have to force myself to fit in to a society or an institution or a club that's not really that great anyway.
So pardon me, I'm overcome with emotion here. The heliocentric model of the solar system and the sphericity of Earth is a club that I joined. I'm sorry. Do I owe back dues or something? Just how much is this club costing me?
And so, yes, I do have like an emotional attachment, emotional interest in the Earth being flat.
Okay, I was wrong. That is the most sad and pathetic statement I have heard all week.
Like, for example, it used to be that the sun ever since I was a kid, the sun and moon always looked the same size. And on the flat Earth model, they are the same size because they're just, maybe a few thousand miles away and moving over the Earth.
Okay, I give up. How? The Earth, a sphere, the moon, circling Earth, in orbit, a barycentric model, or the Earth this way. We know the mechanisms involved for this. What possible mechanism for that?
And by the way, the flat Earth model looks kind of like this. I hope you could see that well. And the sun goes around it like this.
Dude, have you ever noticed something that kind of happens every day at sunset? It gets fucking dark! Here on the planet I live on, it gets dark at night!
Once around is 24 hours, and the moon goes around it as well. And so anyway, they look the same size, the sun and the moon. And what I was told all my life was that the reason they look the same size is the sun is 400 times as far and 400 times as big as the moon. So that's the illusion of it looking the same size.
No, the statement is false. The sun does not always look the same size as the moon. Sometimes the moon looks larger than the sun. Sometimes the moon looks smaller than the sun. It depends on the orbit around the spherical Earth and the orbit of Earth around the solar system barycenter. Depending on where Earth is in that orbit, the size of the sun changes. Depending on where the moon is in its orbit around the Earth-Moon barycenter, its apparent size changes also. The claim that the sun and the moon always appear to look the same size is false. Maybe you should have started there.
And the fact that the idea that they look the same size because they are the same size feels better to me, or it makes more sense to me.
Jennifer Lawrence wants to have sex with me. Jennifer Lawrence does not want to have sex with me. Which one would make me feel better if I believed it?
I've been to Peru a couple times, and whenever I've gone back from Peru to home, I would go from Lima, Peru to Los Angeles, California, and then to Denver. And on my flight, I would meet Australians who are also going back home. And I just thought, isn't that weird that they go home by going from Lima to Los Angeles to Sydney? But when I found out about, flight paths, that there are no nonstop flights from South America to Australia. Like if you go from Santiago, Chile, to, let's say, Auckland, New Zealand, or Sydney, Australia, you have to go through California.
Hello, yeah, FAA, he's on to you, too.
And on a globe, that makes, of course, no sense.
Here on the planet Earth that I live on, the spherical one, we have this thing called jet fuel. Jets need it to fly, so jets need to land every now and then. And the word is refuel. More fuel so the aircraft can fly more. You know what would happen if the navigator of an aircraft started at Peru and flew directly to Australia on a compass direction? If that navigator took the true direction, if the navigator accounted for magnetic deviation and compass error and just flew that compass direction all the way from Peru to Australia, do you know where that aircraft would end up? The South Pole. The aircraft would circle the southern hemisphere and spiral into the South Pole. Because Earth is a sphere. That is why aircraft fly great circle routes. They don't go straight lines when they're going long distances. They go curved lines when going long distances. And when they find a refueling stop along that curved line, that is where the aircraft and therefore the passengers go.
And another reason why the flat Earth makes a difference to me has to do with there are things that I never noticed that about the world that suddenly became clear when I looked at it from a flat Earth perspective.
Confirmation bias. Look it up.
For example, I'm learning, when studying flat Earth, I'm learning a lot about the moon.
Studying flat Earth. It's like studying stork human reproduction.
You know, and one thing I never knew was that, I knew when I looked up at the moon at night, I knew it moved. But what I didn't know is that it moves on the same path as the sun. It's as if the sun and the moon are on some similar track.
Track. Like we're living in a squirrel cage, a habit-trail squirrel Earth. And there's the sun and the moon and they're on tracks.
Another example of that is the way the stars move. You know, I never knew about how all the stars rotate around Polaris. In a flat Earth model, Polaris is stationary.
If Polaris is stationary, why does its apparent height increase as you travel north? Why does its apparent height decrease when you travel towards the equator?
And all the stars move around it because the sky actually moves around the Earth.
What possible mechanism is there that would have the stars on a fixed dome spinning above Earth? How could that even form? What is this dome being made out of? As for the speed involved, if the stars were fixed on a dome and was rotating around a flat Earth, the stars really close to Polaris would be going very slowly. The stars very close to the rim of the flat disk Earth would be going really fast. You know the distance involved to make the stars not violate the speed limit of the speed of light? For the stars to not violate the speed of light, they would have to be no farther than the planet Neptune for it to be spinning around the planet. How did such a thing come to be?
And I never knew that the sky moves in this circular fashion around Polaris along with the sun.
That's right, the sky is moving. It took me 6 tries to say that without exploding with laughter.
You know, and I don't know how the heliocentric people rationalize that, how it works.
The heliocentric club members.
But it all makes sense in the flat Earth model.
Makes sense. Stars going real slow around Polaris. Stars violating the speed of light going around the disk Earth. That makes sense to you?
You know, understand, you know, I feel like I have this better relationship with the sun, the moon, and the stars. It all makes sense to me.
In the same sense that I feel I have a relationship with Jennifer Lawrence.
And in all these channels, they have these people they call trolls or shills that try to wreck the conversation by acting really, people acting really crazy.
People acting really crazy on flat Earth forums. Who could have possibly guessed?
Trying to steer people away from flat Earth. And there's like this society, there's this website called the Flat Earth Society that's just like a bunch of crazy people pretending to be flat earthers.
So let me get this straight. The International Flat Earth Research Society is not the one real true flat Earth organization. They are just pretending to be, to make people who believe in a flat Earth appear crazy.
You know, just to make people look at the subject and say, oh yeah, it is kind of crazy. But anyway, and when I see that, I think, I wonder if there's if the flat Earth idea is hitting a nerve somehow with big institutions that might seem invincible, but what if people discover that this is the case?
Hello, yeah, Coca-Cola Company, David Ross Dieter. Ross Dieter. He knows.
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.